It's Thursday, August the 17th. I finally got back from up in the North Woods in Wisconsin. I've been fishing up there for about 3 weeks. Got back this weekend and got to fish a few days this week. And I can tell you, it's a lot easier fishing up north. Them fish are a lot more aggressive up there. But it hadn't been too bad here. As far as the lake level, ever since we got home, the lake level's been on the rise. And it looks like it finally crested today. It's about 914 and a half, about 6 inches below normal winter pool. But water temperature, after all that rain and stuff this weekend, I found a lot of the water temperature in the low 80s, up to about 83, 84 degrees. And I fished up in the James River the past 3 days. And I got several different bites going up there. A lot of the water was still in real good shape. You get up underneath the Bridgeport Bridge, and the color of the lake changed, coming out of Flat Creek and out of the James. It was by no means muddy, but it had a brown color to it. But pretty much from, say, Cape Fear Marina all the way down towards Ants Creek, it's about the same as it was, as far as the color. No more water than they're moving through the lake. I don't think we're going to see that dirtier water get down very far. The only generation they seem to be doing is late at night. But anyways, when I got out there, I've been finding most of my fish about 18 to 25 feet deep. And a lot of them are on, gravel points, some off bluff ends, and I'm catching them, several different ways. We've caught several on like a wobble head with a zoom mag finesse worm. Red bug, is what I've been throwing, but a green pumpkin, watermelon red will work as well. I think a Carolina rig will work in the same areas, football jigs, a lot of different baits that'll work. I just seem like I can keep this bait on the bottom and cover quite a bit of water with it, but we did catch some on a 3/4 ounce football jig as well. And we caught a lot of fish on a drop shot. A lot of them we caught casting the bait, and some of them we caught sitting right on top, right on top of the fish. And I was kind of surprised that, a lot of the fish up here are still pretty shallow, as far as on a drop shot, 18 to, seemed like 27 feet deep. And with a little bit of off-colored water, even in that 20 foot, you could set right on top of them. Seems like if the water gets a little clearer, you almost got to use your live scope and cast to them. But using a lot of different worms, up north there, I used a lot of Berkeley stuff. Them smallmouths seem to like the max scent power baits. So I started throwing some down here, and it's like a blue fleck. It's called a hitworm, Berkeley hitworm. And they also got one in a plum. And we were also throwing a lot of flatworms up there, Berkeley flatworms. This is like a black shad, it's black and silver. But the regular baits I usually throw, the chompers is really hard to beat. The brown purple lamb, KVD dream shot. I think it's just whatever you got confidence in. When you get it around the fish that are biting, it doesn't seem to matter which bait I had on. Now, a lot of the fish, the key to the drop shot and the jig fish seemed to be, I had to have bait in the area. The bait might have been a little higher up in the water column in some spots, but it seemed like bait was the key, because I fished a few areas the one day early in the morning, never had a bite. Came back about 3 hours later, and there was a lot more bait present, and we started catching them on the bottom and just off the bottom. And you can see them on your electronics. They're just about a foot or two up off the bottom. Another deal that should be happening, especially where the water's cooled down a little bit, seems like it always starts about the end of August, the 1st of September, like a whopper plopper. And I usually throw the big one a lot. I used to throw a big one and a little one. Well, what I kind of do now is I've got, I'll throw the big whopper plopper in either, black with little chartreuse or bone color. And if the water's real slick and it's sunny, then I'll go to this little Cyclone Junior of Spros, and I'll throw black if it's, you know, kind of overcast. If it's real clear and sunny, I'll throw this translucent one. But, you know, this bait here, it's a lot more subtle. It's not as much noise, you know, doesn't kick out as much of a wake and everything as the big whopper plopper. So I think it kind of works better when they won't bite the bigger bait, or if they'll roll on it. Then the little Cyclone Junior seems to be a good bait to throw in those conditions. But I've been throwing it a little bit, but I haven't got much of a bite on the bank yet with the whopper plopper or the Cyclone Junior. I think it's coming. And I hadn't been out real early in the morning. I think if you get out early, especially in the river arms with the off-colored water, there's no reason a buzz bait, a black buzz bait with a gold blade with like a frog for a trailer shouldn't work, and even a whopper plopper, you know, even a spinner bait. And there's good staying up in the river arms right now, and there's a lot of bait. So it's just a combination of getting around some of the bait that's got fish underneath it. Now, we did go into the back of a couple of creeks where there was some water running in, and we caught them on a 165, which is a Spro square bill, and also a 2.5 Strike King square bill. In the very backs of the pockets where that water was, and the well was, not the pockets, but it was like a creek where there was fresh water coming in. And it seemed like it had the shad a little bit fired up with with the new water that was coming in, washing in some nutrients, maybe some worms, but it seemed to be a little bit of a square bill bite in the backs of the creeks that had water running in. So I think if a guy went, further up the rivers, you could probably duplicate the same thing. So I'll get out a little bit more this week and have hopefully a little bit more detailed report, and especially some stuff down Lake. I'm going to be at Indian Point this weekend, and I think Baxter on Monday. So I hadn't been down to those areas of the lake, so I really couldn't tell you how deep the drop shot fish are. But I would start looking in that 20 to 25 feet. And I think down there, if you get a real slick day, a person's going to have to get out over some of them deeper trees and probably fish 25, 35 feet deep over the tops of the trees. I don't think it matters how deep the bottom is. You just want them tree tops in that 25 to 35 feet of water. So till next week, good luck, good fishing.